did accountants get into accounting? Hi, my name is Katherine. I'm a CPA and your accounting tutor. Today I have a special video for you. I recently attended a personal finance conference called Camp Fi, and I had the opportunity to sit down with my friend Penny Rose to ask her about why she got into accounting and what her career path has looked like so far. I've put her link in the description if you want to connect, and with that, let's dive in.
Hey Penny, it's great talking with you today.
Yeah, nice to meet with you. I'm so glad that you're at this Camp Fi,
Yeah,
Catherine.
absolutely. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do?
Awesome. I am Penny Rose. I'm a CPA for content creators and most recently had a W-2 job working for the FBI as a forensic accountant. And I RV full-time with my husband.
Nice. Great. Well, what made you decide to get into accounting?
I have a degree in economics from Cornell, and I went into banking, which it was the right thing to do in the 90s, but I hated it. And I happened to be in a bookstore and I was looking at different things in the bookstore and I saw the CPA review guide and I was like, oh, that's it. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And I had taken a few accounting classes at Cornell, but obviously I said my degree is in economics, so it wasn't something that I focused on until then. And I made it my mission after then to become an accountant. It was just like a lightning strike.
Well, I'm interested also why you hated, like what specifically made you hate your other job that like made you open to the possibility of something else.
So I had started out in banking doing loan underwriting, which was awesome. Up to that point, that was the most amazing job that I can imagine. And at that time, they were going through consolidations. And I worked in a city and the loan department moved to another city and I had to move to the other city and it wasn't as good. And then after that, it moved to another city. And I realized the only jobs where I wanted to be were inside the branches. And at that time, consumer banking was going to the point where it was all sales. And in order to move up in the ranks, you had to be a supervisor. And I was not a fantastic supervisor and I didn't really enjoy sales. And as a supervisor, I was held responsible for the overall sales performance of the entire branch. And it definitely wasn't the right fit for me.
That makes sense. And so it sounds like you did eventually become a CPA after you got that review book.
No, I didn't get the book. And it's funny because I actually didn't have enough credits. Because I had a degree in economics, I only had about 9 credit hours of accounting. And so I went back to school nights and I got enough accounting credit so that I qualified to take the CPA exam. And while I was waiting for class to start, I went into the career office and there was a accounting career magazine and it said the FBI wants you. And I was like, the FBI hires accountants? Are you kidding? And it took me a while, but I ultimately got hired by the FBI to be a forensic accountant. And I did that for 20 years. And through the process of, trying to get promotions, it became obvious that actually passing the CPA exam and getting my certification would push me forward to get the highest level of promotion that I could get. And once I got that, I initially thought, well, I'm just going to do it just to get the promotion. And I got my promotion, so it happy ending there. And I realized I could start a business and leave my job 3 years early because I had this credential. And it's odd. It's my openness to whatever was happening around me. And I talk a lot of time about the reticular activation system. Are you familiar with it?
I'm not.
So it's a part of your brain that you can call it like the green Volkswagen part of your brain. So when you've decided, oh, my favorite car is a green Jetta, and once you initially decide that that's your favorite car and that's what you're looking for, you'll start seeing them everywhere.
Yes.
And you never saw them before. You'd never
Yes.
seen a green Jetta before, but your reticular activation system has been turned on for green Jettas.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know about that for a long time, but I think that that's what was happening to me is I was open, paying attention, and things came up, and I was like, oh, that's it. And I think I owe a lot of, my success and happiness with my accounting career comes from that.
That makes sense. So say more. So as you've kind of hinted at before, you did ultimately leave the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
Say more about what you've done after that and kind of what that path has looked like that's gotten you to here.
I love that story. I am very active in the Choose FI community in Jacksonville, Florida, where I lived for 20 years. And we have events every month. And I went to an event and it was just a coffee, and we didn't have anything special to talk about. And there was somebody that showed up who I'd never met before. And she had worked in law enforcement. She was an analyst, had been an analyst for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
Okay.
And she said she left that job and she became a bookkeeper. And I was like, that's a thing? You can do that? And she helped me realize that I could build a business that would not necessarily replace my income. As a 20-year employee of the FBI, I'm eligible to get a pension. And my husband and I built our financial lives that we knew we could live on the amount of my pension. And so all the money that I need to generate from my business is just equivalent to the amount of what my pension will be. And I've been able to build that. And, it's another reticular activation, thing, because I was open to the idea of I wanted to create a business and I didn't know what it was going to be. And I was just open to what it ultimately could be. And I'm so thankful to Choose FI that these people got together and this and I didn't know that virtual bookkeeping was a viable business. I mean, because in the forensic accounting role in law enforcement, there are opportunities to do bookkeeping for a specific investigation. So that investigation will have a budget.
That makes sense.
And they need a bookkeeper to track the funds and make sure that the accounting gets done properly. And I didn't really like that part of my job. And so it's so funny to think that I've built that and that's where I started out in my business. But ultimately, because of my interest in personal finance, I realized that if I want to work with people who like personal finance as much as I do, I need to specialize in tax strategy. And so while I did start out in bookkeeping, and that was the idea that got me moving in the right direction, ultimately I've changed what I do and it's been amazing. I'm earning way more than I needed to earn. I mean, I haven't replaced my income yet, but I'm comfortable enough. My husband is also retired from the FBI. And he had been working a contracting job and he was not happy with it. And my business is making enough money that he's able to leave his job and I'm able to replace that contracting from my business.
And that's great. Really. Well, what advice would you have for accounting majors today?
The biggest thing I recommend is being open to the possibilities like I described that I was. And
community, it sounds like, too.
Yeah, community is huge. That's a really good one. So that you're able to talk to people that are in the accounting industry in different ways and try it on and think about, is that something that you would enjoy doing? And then the flexibility, there's stretch. When I went from banking before I went into the FBI, I worked for a real estate developer and I worked for a life insurance company and I did accounting for those things. And so there's no one perfect way to do it for you for your entire career.
That makes sense. Well, great. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today.
You're welcome.
So if viewers are interested in connecting with you after this, where's the best place for them to find out more about you?
So I would love to have somebody direct message me on Instagram, and my handle is V5OFUM Personal CFO.
Well, great. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and
it was great to
talk
see
to
you
again
again.
later.
2-year break in between.
I know.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is awesome. Thank you.
Well, great. Thank you.